Live stream has started.
There we go.
Welcome to New Tracks Live. New Tracks Live is the weekly meetup of the New Tracks modeling community that provides unique mentoring opportunities to enhance your modeling skills by connecting with talented modelers and manufacturers from around the globe who generously share their knowledge and artistic expertise. Build your confidence, refine modeling techniques, and share your projects with a supportive community of fellow modelers, all while enjoying the world's most rewarding hobby. Join us every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern on Zoom and YouTube for the live meetup. Missed a program? No problem. Individual show segments are uploaded to YouTube for convenient on-demand viewing. Be sure to connect with the New Tracks community by joining the New Tracks Facebook page, where you can interact with other modelers and see what they are modeling. Visit our website at www.newtracksmodeling.com to register to receive Zoom links for the weekly meetup and get more modeling information. And now, here is the host of tonight's New Tracks Live, Phil Edholm.
Welcome, everyone, to March 4th. It's March already. This is the March 4th meetup of the New Tracks community. The New Tracks modeling community has a weekly meetup. We also have a Facebook page. And the intent of the group is really to mentor and help people build better models. New Tracks was started back by Jim Kello during COVID, and we've kept it going since then, the great community. Before we start tonight, we'd like to go ahead and recognize the platinum donors that support New Tracks mentoring. New Tracks mentoring does both New Tracks modeling and also supports the New Tracks mentoring scholarship. So we're going to run a little video and thank those vendors.
New Tracks Mentoring thanks the 2026 New Tracks Mentoring Platinum donors, Brennan's Model Railroading, the Amherst Railway Society and the Great Scale Model Train Show. Platinum donors support the New Tracks Mentoring Scholarship as well as New Tracks Live. For over 25 years, Brennan's Model Railroading has been offering products focused on the O-scale market, including Brennan's Better Ballast and a complementary line of natural ground cover materials. Brennan's also has craftsman kits with complete photographically illustrated instructions to create an outstanding model. The Frank Ellison Tribute series of kits take Ellison's scratch-built iconic structures to a new level using modern methods and materials. See the complete line of products on the Brennan's Model Railroading website. Use the QR code to visit. The Amherst Railway Society has been bringing modelers in the New England area together for 70 years. The Society sponsors the Railroad Hobby Show, held each January at the Eastern States Exposition Fairgrounds in West Springfield, Massachusetts. It is America's largest railroad-themed trade show. The event occupies 4 buildings on the fairgrounds and draws 25,000 visitors. The show has received the Walther Showmanship Award in recognition of promoting interest in railroads and model railroad hobbies. The Society sponsors other events and operates the Amherst Beltline's modular layout. Use the QR code to visit. The Great Scale Model Train Show is the largest train show in the Mid-Atlantic region. For 40 years, the Great Scale Model Train Show has been held 3 times annually at the Maryland State Fairgrounds in Timonium, Maryland. The events are generally held the first weekend of February, the second weekend of April and the last weekend of October. Held in 3 halls, the train show features vendors, layouts, clinics, and special activities. The Great Scale Model Train Show features over 600 exhibitors and vendors. Use the QR code to visit.
Well, thanks to our platinum vendors for supporting the New Tracks modeling. Before we start the show, I'd also like to go ahead and thank our brass donors. Loco Fi, Santa Clarita Railroad, O-Scale Central, Millhouse River Studios, and Kershaw Craftsman Kits. All donate to help support the New Tracks mentoring, but primarily all these donations go to support the scholarships. This year, for the 2026-27 academic year that starts in the fall, we will be doing three $2,500 scholarships for model railroading students that are pursuing a STEAM degree. Obviously, science, technology, engineering, arts, and math are critical because basically STEM is everything underneath the layout and A, or art, is everything above the layout. So with that, let's jump into tonight's program. Tonight we have three segments for sure and one segment if there's time. So we're going to start off with news and views large scale. Steve Bittinger is going to talk about creating inexpensive buildings for narrow gauge G scale railroads. Obviously, those big buildings can tend to cost a lot of money, and this is a great way to build those, but techniques that can be applied in any scale. Bill Davis is going to talk about powering our models. One of the things that obviously with the ready to run products today, there are fewer and fewer people powering models, but when you buy a model and it needs to be repowered, it's excellent to have the strategy of how to do that. We have a new tracks layout tour of Richard Rands layout. This is from the National Narrow Gauge Convention. And then our last segment that we'll definitely do is news and views end scale. Alan Grahlman from Motor City Railroads is going to join Doc Lovelace and talk about 3D printed models and some absolutely outstanding structures. And then if there's time available, we're going to have a layout building, the little clinic that I will do on from public modules to layout rooms. We'll see if we have time. As a reminder, we do have a build along coming up that will start April 1st. So April Fool's Day will not be April Fool's Day for us. This will be the Banta Metalworks Oyster Point Depot. This build along will be done by Bill Banta. Bill's an outstanding modeler as well as a great kit manufacturer. I've built a number of his kits, and they're really great kits, both when you're first getting into the hobby, but also to fill out your layout. You can get a 20% discount with the code OYSTER. The price for the kits are shown there with the discount, and U.S. shipping is $12.50. So here's a couple of tiny URLs, like tiny URLs because they're easy to remember. So oyster-ho or oyster.o. And finally, before we get going, we need you. We actually are doing very well on having segments come up in the future, but really this is all about us mentoring each other. Everyone here has something to contribute that they can talk about and deliver and show how to build a model. You see that from the folks that come on regularly, our new track mentors. If you're interested, shoot the QR code here or use, again, a tiny URL, NTM present, and that'll take you to a little Google form. Just enter some information about what you'd like to talk about, and we'll get you set up to be on one of the future meetups. So with that, we're now going to jump into our program for tonight. And our first segment is Steve Bittinger. And this segment is, before we run that segment, we're going to run a little video about the New Track Mentoring Scholarship.
Okay, go. Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the West Virginia.
Hey, hang on, Steve. Just a second. We're going to run a video here real quick.
Oh, okay.
Are you a model railroader going to college in academic year 2026-27? Apply for the New Tracks Modeling Mentoring Scholarship. For 2026-27, 3 individual $2,500 scholarships will be available for model railroaders pursuing a STEAM degree. Science, technology, engineering, arts, and math are all key parts of model railroading. You can apply online at the QR code shown. Model railroaders can support the New Tracks Modeling Mentoring Scholarship, the only national scholarships for model railroaders from a nonprofit organization. Donate online on Zephy. All donations are tax deductible.
That was great. And by the way, before Steve starts, I did want to make one comment. We are having some real issues with getting emails sent out. These software programs we use to host the website and send the emails apparently have had issues. Jamie actually sent out 935 emails this week, but apparently they didn't go out. I didn't get one. If you don't get an email, just look for an old email. Just search your email for New Tracks, webmaster at New Tracks. Find one of the old emails. the link for Zoom doesn't change week to week. So if you can't find it, it's easy. Just let your friends know as well. That's the way to get it. We'll try to get those emails out by next week. So Steve, with that, I'm going to throw it over to you.
Take two, I guess. So good evening, everybody, and welcome back to West Virginia Workshop and G Scale. Tonight, first part of the program is going to be me, and then my sidekick, Mr. T. Sherrill, be coming on here for a second part of our program. And I'll introduce our program by saying the goal is to create inexpensive buildings from everyday stuff, and we're going to start with the core of the building. This is going to give you something to build your building against in a pretty quick and inexpensive manner. So we're going to have two types of material. We're going to have wood as a base material, and we're going to have PVC as a base material. Either one of which works equally fine. Just depends on your application and the kind of good old leftovers that you can find and come up with. So starting with the wood, one of the most common types of material you can come across is this, which is your typical 4x4 posts used for deck construction, fences, etc. Get them as cutoffs. These things come anywhere 6, 8, 12-foot lengths. The scraps that are left over are excellent, especially for these small G-scale structures we're going to show you tonight, but you can use them in anything really. They're great for, I use them for G-scale. We can use them for O, anything you like, indoors or out. This thing here is 100% weatherproof. Also, the bigger version, this one right here, your typical 6x6, which supports lots of decks, retaining walls, etc. These, you can use them as the size they are, cut them down. If you got a chop saw, that's handy. If you got a table saw, that's handy. You can run them through, put the desired type of slope or peak you want on the roof. You can also take these, split them in any section you want, get multiple pieces of the size you need. So here we go. We got two sizes of our wood, and sometimes I do this. What you see right here is I will use both, one for maybe a small addition to the main structure. Also, this gives you height. Maybe you want to make a switch tower. This is the perfect thing to build it around. If you're not concerned about doing interiors, this is ideal. Just black it out, and that begins the process. Put your sheathing on there, whatever it is you're going to use. Next available product that is readily available, we have this in the wood. Here is the plastic equivalent. Now we're hollow, very lightweight. These things are pretty sturdy, nice thick walls. There are cheaper versions of these, which are called sleeves. This is structural. This one would hold up a railing or a fence. This is what I recommend you look for the scraps of rather than the sleeves. The sleeves will be concave, and when you squeeze them, they're going to move on you. So you'd have to put supports inside of those. This one, don't have to do anything to it. Just use it the way it is. If you want something smaller than a PVC, many of you would recognize this. This is a standard picket out of a deck railing. Cutting these off in whatever length you want. You can glue these together in groups. A couple of these put together make up 1, 2, or 3 portions of a side structure. So that would just, you glue it together, super glue, whatever you got, increase the size of your structure. You don't need to find a bigger one of these. Just add these things around it as you need. This stuff comes in 36 and 42-inch lengths, and you can buy them individually at Lowe's, Home Depot, Menards, etc. You can also find these damaged a lot of times where these things get cracked or broken. Ask them if they have any that they've gotten damaged. They come in pre-built in 8-foot sections. If 1 or 2 of the sections is damaged, I'll usually pitch them aside, and you can get them cheap. Just take them home and cut them up. There's a third piece to this. This is what's called the bottom rail. This is the bottom piece of this. When I flip it over, here's the top portion. These are normally in that position right there. There is a top rail. It is not flat. It's going to be convex on the top. Not as easily used as what this is right here. So if we take this one and we cut it above or below the square hole, you can see we get another shape. We get this rectangular shape. Steve's going to show you a little later this evening something done in this particular shape, just using this portion of it to build his structure around. Again, you can cut them, stack them together. I can do this number, put them on the side. Now I don't even have an issue with the holes. I've buried the holes. And maybe you might get lucky. And that square hole is just the hole you need for a window. You don't have to do anything. Just put your window over top of it. You're all set to go. So 3 good shapes. And I cut this out earlier. Outhouse. Here you go. All ready to go. Cut from this guy. A little bit smaller. Doghouse. Cut from this size. Cut out the shape there for Fido. And you're all set to go. Put a little base underneath, got yourself a structure, add a roof, you're all wrapped up. Weatherproof, lightweight, indoors or outdoor use. Doesn't make any difference whatsoever. Also for our buildings, doing commercial buildings, had comments online the other day on one of the websites that I'm on frequently. They were looking for a warehouse roof, typical build-up roof. You've seen these in industrial parks. They have a gravel roof. It's done from an asphalt base covered in stone and held in place. You can do that with a piece of styrene and ballast, white glue, and build it up. However, this material here is all ready to go. Here's what it looks like when you buy it at the lumber yard. This comes in 2x2, 4x4, and 4x8 sheets. All I have done is painted this side black to give you an idea of what that is going to look like when you put it on your building. That will be your built-up roof. I also suggest you can put pieces around the sides. Typically on a built-up roof, they will wrap the tar up the sides on that. If you want to use this for a second project, switch to the smooth side. Great surface for building. I use this. It's great for that. It's fairly stiff. We use this in commercial construction. This is what goes in commercial kitchens. Behind sinks and wash areas is where it's commonly used. Steve has a question for me.
No, I just want to put it up close so they can see.
The texture.
See the texture on that? That's pretty good. What size sheets do these come in?
2x2, 4x4, and 4x8. The largest sheet in that, the 4x8 sheets are in the range of $40 for a 4x8 sheet. That's 32 square feet. That's a lot of material, especially for smaller scales. If you go down to the 4x4, you'll pay a little bit more for it, but you know, if you don't have plans for any of the rest of it, get the 4x4 and be done with it. Easier to haul it away if you don't have a pickup truck also to fit in the back of your car. So after we got our pressure treated material, we started to figure out what kind of shapes we were going to make for Steve's GN15 rail rider. And now we need shapes cut from this material right here. This one we've made already, a 12-12 pitch roof. This is a standard 2x4. It's got the rounded edges here. We have not addressed that in any way. That's the standard 3.5 inch height. Has not been changed in any way, shape, or form. That pitch can be anything you want. I call this stock material. Now we can just cut it down to whatever length we'd like to for our structure, make multiple pieces. Second cut, once you've got this one, same thing here with a roof extension. You've probably seen little wayside stations where you have an office or some type of building here on one side, a platform that it's on, supporting post out here on the end. This will give you that shape. You can also do this as a 2-piece where you would have, here's, I have the cut shown, a triangular piece which you would glue to this. This is very stable. It's like there's no gluing involved. So maximum strength. Now we go to taking our 4x4, splitting it in the middle like that here to get this shape. And again, we can put multiples. Remember, this is just the base to which you're going to attach siding, brick, stone, whatever it is you want to do. You could just paint this, just weather it up nice and gray, take a knife and scribe it. This is soft enough to scribe. It's yellow pine. It'll scribe just fine. really have an economical building in that process. Buildings that are a little more sophisticated. This one has been cut twice. This material, cut again, and now we've added this shape to it. That's just the same material, 45 one more time. Now we have a structure typical of what we see, where we might have a window in this end, a door in here, roof applied to both of those. So there we go. Multiple types and shot sizes. Here, smaller version of this one. If you want to do a structure with a small structure beside it, like an add-on, an addition, take same one more cut to skinny it up a little bit. There, we got it out there. Slide it up, forward, back, wherever you want. Add your roofs, you're all set to go. So there's any number of architectural shapes and sizes you can get from this material. Super cheap. And believe it or not, 20 minutes ago, I was painting a building while we were waiting for the show to start. So I think it's dry enough for me to pick up. But here you go. There's the block, right? This is the block like we're talking about. Typical end. And I went and hurried up and made a building on this side. The windows, Steve, these were Plasticville.
Mm-hmm.
We had no junk Plasticville building, and we robbed the windows and doors out of it, and the rest of the stuff was scrap it. I just had here tonight and a little spray paint, and you can see a quick change from that to that. And I would tell you that is 1.5 hours ago, this was a block of wood. So another hour, it'd probably be a building. I'm going to introduce Steve now. He's going to show you where you can go from here, from the raw state, over to actually making some buildings. So get him over here up on the scene, and I'll step out of the way. Now,
some of you know that I am taking my 0-30 layout that I've had for almost 30 years now, almost complete. You know, you can, and all, they're never really complete, but mine was pretty complete. And since it's HO with track, I can run GN15, which operates on 0-30 or HO track. So, with that being said, I want to show you the difference between an O scale, 0-30 building that I have done, and a GN15 and 132. I'm going to be doing my G scale and 132. If you have been watching the G scale guys, you know that G scale is 3 or 4 different actual scales. 132, 129, 122 and a half, and 120.3. The reason they're called G scales is because they're on a 45 millimeter track. Okay. So, that being said, came over, talked to Steve, and we decided that I would make this building right here, which is a foggy bottom 0-30 kit. And I was going to do it in 132. So, Steve cut the building for me. Excuse me, that's not right. He cut the building side for me. And so I had that. Had a consideration of the width. I couldn't go, 14-inch width or something like that. I had to go narrow because my layout is a shelf layout, and I only had about 4 inches on the other side of the track where I wanted to put this building. So that was my limitation. I was going to try and duplicate this as close as possible, and you will find that this will it'll look pretty good, pretty close when we finish. Okay. Greg Cassidy, if you want to show the first picture, please. First picture shows a picture of my layout when you come into the building.
Okay, it's up.
And that is ON30. That's an ON30 car, a Goose modified. Okay, show the second car. Show the second picture. As of, I've completed 2 motor cars and 2 diesels. This is a diesel, I believe.
Motor car.
It's a what? Yeah,
Motor car.
it's a motor car. Excuse me, the motor car. And you can see it's 132. So if you can see how much bigger it is than the ON30. So that gives you an idea of what we're going to be dealing with. Now, I was lucky when I built my ON30 layout, I had clearances. I had a lot of space between the 2 parallel tracks. And so I don't have to worry about removing any track. I did have to take some of the rock wall and chip it to get clearances. Okay, so now, here are some of the products that I used to build this.
Greg still has the slide up on the.
Do you want the next one up?
Okay, Greg, go ahead and put up the next one.
Okay, it's up.
Okay. So what I did was I went and I decided that I had products in my scrap box, and I was just going to try to use some of them. I had Tichy windows, and these Tichy windows are O scale. They're 36 by 84, so they're pretty good sized windows. They worked out real good. I was going to use paper products for the siding. And so I got some paper products, and I was going to use.
He still has a.
Yeah, Steve, we've still got up. You want me to go to the next one showing the blocks of wood?
Yeah.
Okay, you got to tell me when to move.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Hey, blocks of wood are up. He's got the blocks of wood up.
Okay, so we're back to this now. Go ahead to the next one.
Okay, it shows the designs.
He's showing all your material.
Okay, so what we've got here is what I used to make this. And you can see the different products. I actually started out with, Steve had made this.
He has slides up.
Oh. Okay, we have the building that we have. And we have selected this station from Foggy Bottom. You know, with the usual characters with a checkboard. Now we went and we picked the wood, and you see the difference in the height. The left being 132 and the right being 130.
He's still got a picture of this up.
Okay, go ahead and change.
Next slide.
Next slide.
Okay, that shows your weights.
Okay. That's okay.
He's got the weights on top of there.
Yeah. When you're using paper and any kind of glue, you need to weight it down. And so I had some lead ingots, and I went ahead and put those on. Go ahead and get to the lead, to the weights.
Yeah, we did.
Okay. So now we have a picture of when I came over to Steve's. We talked about what I wanted, and Steve, you know, drew sketches out of what it's going to look like. And so at the time, I brought over some of the products that I had that I was going to use, and then I finally decided on the ones that are in front of you right now. The products from Clever Brothers. I had some Clever Brothers kits that I had not used, and so I decided to use them. Okay, go ahead. Change. Next picture. There's the ingots. I have some paper siding.
He's got this up.
Huh?
Here's the weights up there now.
Yeah, I see it.
Okay.
And it's very important to have those weights and leave them on for a while. I took the Aliens glue, I used that, and I would put it on, and then I would spread it very thin until it almost got real tacky. Then I would put the paper product down, and that worked out pretty good. Next slide.
It's got the structure without the roof.
Okay, go ahead. Next slide.
Now he has that. No. Yeah, just ignore this.
So this is what I ended up with. I changed a few things. I changed the roof out compared to this one. You can see there's definitely a family look here. I changed out the roof. I actually didn't have any more of this type of roof, so I put this roof on. Steve had made a piece for this extension, and it wasn't long enough. It was this. So that wasn't long enough for the piece of scrapped wood that I had. So what I did was, I had decided that I was going to peg the roof in. So I put a peg in. And so you can see that this comes out in a peg. And this is an old coach roof from Carroll Creek. So I had a little left over, and I will use that at another time. Here's my window from Tichy. And I had a bench that was just, I don't know, it was in the scrap box.
Steve, should I go to the next picture?
Yes, next picture, please. You can see there when I had it laid out, you can see how I had everything ready to go together, and I put it tentatively together.
Yeah.
So I had an idea of what it was going to look like if that's what I wanted it to be. And so I kind of liked it, and so we just, kept on going with it. Next picture.
This is on your layout. No, he's passed this already.
Next picture.
No, he's got it up there. You have to not look at
Okay,
that.
what is it?
He's got the picture of your layout.
It's got the building on the layout with the window in it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I can't.
Just ignore it.
Okay. So I'm not sure exactly what the picture is, but anyway, I placed this on the layout, and before I came over today, it fits perfect, the spot that I had it in. So I thought this was a really, really nice way to get a small building, and it really showed me that I could do something quickly and not cost much. Most of it was just the block of wood, and I still owe Steve for that. So I don't know. Steve,
$20.
it's
$20.
Yeah, and now I got to have an addition to the house. But
You want to take that slide down? Take the slide down.
fine.
Take it down.
There it is. So you can see I have both of them side by side there.
Is there any more pictures after that?
And you can see in the back of the station, I have a diesel that's 132nd. The hopper car on the left-hand side is also a GN15, and that is offered by Carroll Creek Designs. And we have a bulk car on the right-hand side. So you can see that even though the background has got ON30, the GN15 stuff kind of fits right in. There's only a 25% difference. It's almost like having an HO and an S scale You know, some of that stuff you can use.
Next slide is with the car.
Next slide.
It's got the hopper cars in the engine.
Okay. Okay.
That's what it has.
So anyway, the characters on here are homies, and they're all hip, and they have different poses and different looks. So and they're all 132. So you can see that when you put them next to the other guys, the O and 30 guys, the O scale guys.
I haven't taken the slides down. Time to take.
Oh, okay.
Next slide. Next one.
This is the last slide.
The next slide is, I believe,
Engine and 3 hoppers.
a Lionel Kids Train diesel that I have converted to 132nd and battery powered.
You want the video?
The hopper is heading downgrade to Buchanan, West Virginia. Does that come up yet, Greg?
Yeah, we're showing the video.
Yeah. So that's the view I get on my layout, and that's a 132nd guy walking the right away. And so you'd be surprised what you can use. This Lionel actually had a sound system in it, and I put battery to it, and it worked. It was definitely kids train, and the cars were all looked like animals, had animal names on them, and they were purple and pink and all this other kind of stuff. I gave that to my grandkids.
He's got the video of it running.
Okay. So now we're going to look at a GN15 operating on a micro layout. This is going to be the Lazy Susan layout that I had an ON30 I showed a couple of years ago, where I actually scenic both sides of the layout, and it was actually an operating railroad. Uh-oh.
Do you want it next slide?
Hey, I'm showing it again.
He's running it again.
Okay.
Greg's running it again.
Want me to stop it?
No, it's a minute long, isn't it?
He's already run it twice.
Oh, wow. Okay. They can see it. So you can see that
He's got you there.
this is a 10-inch radius, and the locomotive will pull those cars around there and not have any problem. I use Lincoln pin, my own Lincoln pin couplers that I made, and you don't see them on there, but this was early on. And those are more homies. The homies come sometimes in little settings. There are a couple more homies.
Hey, he has you. He doesn't have that up. It's you, Steve.
The one guy is,
Yeah, we're back to the camera, Steve.
You. They can't see.
oh, they can't see that? Oh, okay. Okay, so what's on the camera now?
You.
Just me? Oh, well. There are several manufacturers which produce GN15 equipment. Most of it is 3D printed, okay? One of them happens to be one of the sponsors that we have here, which is Carroll Creek Designs. And I don't know if is Carroll Creek on tonight? Ryan?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, Ryan, tell us about some of the products that you guys have to offer in GN15.
The GM15 line for 2026 will be expanded to some buildings. They hit the website or the Facebook today and our website. The buildings are designed just the way Steve had that one designed. They're a little narrower. You'll be able to use, we based it off about a 10 millimeter per foot So they can go pretty much in any narrow shelf GM15 layout. I have them out on my outdoor layout. So they fit in quite well. Whole line of branch line type buildings, freight depots, water towers, passenger stations, freight sheds. Those are the new branch line structures. And then we have the full line of 2-axle, either 14-foot or 10-foot cars. Hoppers, as Steve had, those were the hoppers that take the Bachmann coach trucks. Those are bulkheads, hoppers, cabooses. We have all those going. The 2-axle 14-foot cars are our own product. We do wheels, axles, and all for that. They're going to be just a little bit longer and about a foot wider. So those will all be hitting the end of March, 1st of April.
As you live up in the corner.
Okay.
He's fine stuff.
So that's what we have going. Back to you, Steve.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Thank you, Ryan.
You are welcome.
So as you can see, we can build large scale GN15 buildings and locomotives on our HO railroads if we want to. And we can also do it inexpensively. And that's what I like. So Steve?
Yeah, man.
You got it.
I'm back. So I guess at this point, we would say we are open to any questions anybody would like to have, and then we will be.
I have one question, Steve.
Okay.
That roof that's extended from that little building with the window, is that a 3D printed roof off of a car?
This one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I kind of wondered. It looked like it.
Bring it up closer.
Oh, I'm gonna
I
get
could
it.
see the ridge marks.
This is the master model railroader. I don't want to get too close.
Yeah, right. No, it looks good. I like it. It's kind of neat.
Block of wood.
Yeah.
You got any old dead wood up there in Canada?
Yeah. I knew that was coming. Looks good. I'm gone.
Well, I guess that's about it, huh?
I think that's a wrap for us for tonight.
I could ask another one.
Okay.
The roofing on that building, is that a metal type that
Yeah.
what is that? Printed by that company that used to be in business?
Yes, Clever Brothers, I believe, is still in business.
Clever Mall, yeah.
Yeah. You know,
Okay.
I went to a print shop and had all the regular paper.
Yeah, paper product.
Yeah, you can't put the regular paper on it. You have to do.
No, it'd be all
And but
looks good. Looks
I
good.
mean, that particular thing comes ragged.
Yes. I got some of them.
I'm not really modeling anything run down. My
But it's hard
railroad,
to make it look like that, you know?
my railroad never throws anything away. That's why we have the coach roof.
Yep.
You know, they were going to throw that away after a wreck.
This one is
Good man.
We said,
No, the roof on the little building with the window.
yeah, I haven't seen anybody do that. And I thought that was,
No, that's kind of neat.
you know,
Nice.
now
this one is Precision Products.
Okay.
this is a little bit,
Have your gauge.
yes.
Yes.
Nice. Good
I mean,
job.
The thing is, we're just using regular products you can find around the house every day, you know,
Yep.
or at the hobby shop,
Yep.
or under the tables at the train shows. Pieces, parts.
Yep.
They're practically,
Sometimes they'll give them to you.
and it doesn't have to be expensive.
No.
If you've ever looked up behind us when we're doing a program, those up here behind, that
Mhm.
all kind of stuff I have gathered. There's nothing up on there, I don't think hardly that you buy. It's literally this flea market or just stuff, gathered, sorted out, and that's what I work from.
Good, good. Thank you.
Excellent. That was great. Thanks, guys. We'll work on getting the video and pictures and speaker coordinated a bit better. But that was great information. Absolutely perfect. So with that, we're going to move on to our next segment. But before we do that, we're going to run a bit about the New Tracks Facebook community. This is another place to engage with New Tracks.
Does it seem like eternity waiting for the next Wednesday night and a New Tracks event? Now there is hope. The New Tracks Modeling Facebook page gets you into the New Tracks community 24/7. Post, respond, and converse with over 1,200 avid model railroaders on Facebook. Show your modeling, ask questions and help others. Join now, it is free and easy. Use the link or QR code to open the Facebook page.
Well, that was great. So our next speaker is Bill Davis. Let me get Bill here and we will talk about his presentation.
All righty.
There he is.
Okay.
Welcome.
Hey, guys.
So we're going to go ahead and share and look at Bill's presentation. Bill's going to talk tonight about powering models, about how you repower models or power new models. So with that, we'll go ahead and kick off. There we go, Bill.
All right. So the disclaimer here, I'm not a master machinist or great with electronics, nor am I not all knowledgeable with the motors. This is just some things that my friends and I have experienced.
I had to reshare because I didn't share with optimized for video sharing, unfortunately. So here we go.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Okay. Okay, so disclaimer here, I'm not a master machinist, nor am I great with electronics, not all knowledgeable about motors. So what I'm going to share here is some history and the knowledge that my friends and I have discovered and what we've experienced. Next slide. Model railroading goes back to the 19th century. Early models were pull toys. Markland, initially the producer of dollhouse accessories, shifted to manufacturing tin plate trains in 1890. Early models were made with stamped metal and powered with wind-up type clock mechanisms, all finely crafted and considered showcase in both engineering and artistry of their time. Next slide. In early 1900, electronic motors model trains began to gain popularity, with Lionel introducing its first electric train, the Electric Express, in 1910. This marked a significant shift from the earlier tin plate toys, as electric trains offered more realistic and interactive, captivating both kids and adult collectors. Next slide. So with that background, let's look at how powering our models have changed over the years. Back in the day, we used open frame motors and added flywheels to gain momentum. Next slide. These motors sometimes had to be placed in tenders of a locomotive because they were too big for the engine. Next slide. My friend Mason sent me some pictures of a PFM HON3 CNS 260. It was imported back in the 60s. It came with an open frame motor, and that were common in that era. This being a rather small engine, the motor had to be in the tender. Mason is remotoring it with a gearhead motor, much better performance, but loud inside the tender. Next slide. So we tried a 24-volt Fall Harbor motor that ran at good speed at 12 volts or less. It's a model 1624. However, it is slightly too big for the tender, so he sawed out the top of the tender and will cover it with a coal load. Next one. So So from, wait a minute, hold on, where am I out here? I'm sorry. Oh, from the open frame motors, we started using cam motors, micro motors. These were smaller. I have a collection of these motors of various sizes. I have used these type to power some of my models. Next slide. Wait, wait, wait. Now, what I really like to build are O-scale critters. I have built many of them over the years from various sizes, from 5-ton to 25-ton, built both the narrow gauge and standard gauge. I've used all kind of motors to power them. Building drives is quite a challenge. Once you decide what kind of motor you're going to use, once you decide what kind of motor you're going to use, it's a challenge to figure out what the gearhead and the motor and the ratio all works out. That's really a hassle. Next slide. On the Proto 48 list, Jace Chiswell was showing how he used small Chinese motors with gearheads in the trucks of O-scale diesels. He was able to put 2 motors per truck, so there would be a 4-axle drive. He used a 3D printed special mount. And this is an awesome idea, so I started corresponding with Jay. He was kind enough to send me some of the mounts. Next slide. He even put a pair of these motors in a. He even put a pair of these in a standard gauge O-scale GE 25-ton using his motor mounts. You'll notice that the motors are facing different directions. That means you have to wire them to run. You have to wire them differently so they run the same direction. More on that later. Next slide. So let's see. The motors and the gearheads he uses an N20 with gearhead ratio of 200 RPM. These motors come with either single or dual axles. The axle sizes are 3 millimeter. You can also get them with a slightly more powerful motor size. Voltage ranges from 3 volts to 12 volts. Another bonus is they're quiet runners. They only cost like $5. Next slide. So I know what you're thinking. That's O-scale, but what about my modeling HO? I was asked to build a Grahlman HO GE 25-ton. It had an open frame motor which filled the hood and ran like crap. Next slide. The guy wanted DCC and sound. Really? Well, I decided to solder up a new frame, use the N20 motor and gearhead. This would open the hood area for electronics. I roped my buddy Murphy into making the new axle for the HO wheels, and with a small decoder, we should be able to give him what he wants. More importantly, you can see that the small size of these motors will work in smaller scales than O-scale. Not sure N scale is an option. Sorry, guys. Maybe using the single shaft version could be used. Next slide. Okay, so I got it built, but not running very well. So again, I turned to Murph. He corrected my errors, added light system, changed his pickups, and everything improved greatly. Next slide. This is the video. Next slide. Presently, I am building a GE 50-ton in O-scale. The trucks on these engines were articulated so that they can do very tight curves. These engines were often used in steel mills where tight curves were common. I wanted that feature on my model, so my problem was to have the motor inside the hood would have eliminated turning the trucks. Solution, I had parts from Jay's Chiswell and some N20 motors, so I decided to design the drive for it like Jay did. I had built in the trucks. The end result would be that the hood area would be completely open for weight and electronics. Next slide. So getting back to the actual building of the 50-ton. Years ago, I built a 25-ton using a Cheever's plastic kit in O-scale. Next slide. So I figured when I build the 50-ton, I would use a couple Cheevers 25-ton plastic kits. It required a lot of body and truck kit bashing to build, but it was easier than scratch building it. Next slide. The wheelbase on the 50-ton was less than the 25 tons, so I cut the trucks down, added extensions and pivots like the 50-ton had. Next one. Now I was ready to mount the motors and wheels. However, the narrow gauge, I couldn't do the dual motor trick in the trucks. Instead, I used a Grahlman Delrin chain to drive the second axle in the trucks. With that, I would have all-wheel drive. Murphy printed me some special axle supports, so I had to hard model. So I hard mounted the motor axle and sprung the second axle. Next slide. I made pickups using Tichy bronze wire and soldered them to leads to the leads. Next one. I need the motors wired together. Not a problem in the four-wheel engine, but on this one I had two trucks. I didn't want to have the wires in the cab, so I planned to have interior detailing. To solve this, I used some self-stick copper strips that Jim Murphy gave me. I wired the motors to the strips. I wasn't concerned about direction because both motors face the same way. Next slide. Video. Phil, click it. On Thingiverse, I found STL files for a 3D printed in HO Whitcomb 35-ton DE engine. Oh, next slide. I'm sorry. No. There we go. There we go. I sent them to my friend Gil in Florida, and he gave them to a friend who blew them up the O scale and printed a set for each of us. Next slide. So now I have a 3D printed Whitcomb, but how to power it? Since this engine had four wheels, I plan to use the O scale. It built at O standard gauge for 048. I could do the dual motors like Jay did in the O scale GE 25-ton. I built it as a drop-in unit. Next slide. Video. On another project, I also used one of these N20 motors to drive a Canadian Forest Products engine that they had that was converted from a steam engine to internal combustion. I have found that these little motors with gear heads very handy and inexpensive to build and drives. I'm also sure they can be used for many other applications like driving animation on our layouts. The possibilities seem to only be limited by our imagination. Thanks, guys, for listening to my adventure into building mini drives. Next slide. Any questions, guys?
Yes, I have one question. Are those 3D printed, did you say?
Yep.
Nice job.
Yep. Yeah, I didn't print them.
Oh, okay. But I'm still giving him credit. It's a good
Yeah,
job.
no, the guy did a great job. He blew them up to the,
Yeah.
HO files, the O scale and everything else. It was really pretty cool.
Good.
So are those drives still available?
Oh yeah, you get them from ALI Express. I bought several of them. I think I bought 3 at one time, and it cost me $20 with shipping.
So I've seen something similar to that on eBay, and they're expensive, like $80 and up, something like that.
Yeah, just AL Express has got a lot of really cool stuff besides these motors, but they're really cool.
And they have a website, I assume?
Yep.
AliExpress is the Chinese equivalent of kind of Amazon / eBay.
Yep.
So it's Alibaba was the company and AliExpress is the website. So it's basically just like ordering from Amazon.
Yep. And I've had no problem with getting them any stuff. They give you a complete tracking as you get things. It takes about a week and a half maybe to get things from them, the stuff.
It's ALI, is that the way it's spelled?
Yeah, AliExpress.com should do it.
Thank you.
Yep. Yeah, with the things you've been building with the rail cars and stuff like this, you could do some really interesting things with those little motors.
Yeah, I looked at that stuff on eBay, and it's just, to me, it's way overpriced. And
oh yeah, yep.
Geez, I can't think of his name. There's one guy on ON30 that builds all the shays and all that stuff, and he uses their drives. I think he sells those drives, but they seem too expensive to me.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I've not spent more than $20 and bought 3 of them at the time.
Wow, that seems really reasonable.
Yep, absolutely.
They look like they're pretty well made too.
Yep, they are, and they're really quiet when they're running. I don't know what the hum in was the video I did of the Wickham, but the other two you could hear that other than the chain and the 50-ton, but the 25-ton HO scale, you heard nothing.
Cool.
Yeah.
Hey, Bill. Bill.
Yeah. Yes.
What do they call what are these things called on AliExpress?
Oh, I was on one of the slides there. I don't know for sure, Martin. I just go in there and I have a link to it. I can send you the link.
Thank you. Would you do that, please?
Absolutely, my friend.
These are going to be absolutely perfect. I got a locomotive workshop 65-tonner that needs a drive.
That will work perfect in there. And you can do being standard gauge, you can do the double motors. If you get a hold of Jay Criswell, which is right away.
Yeah, I know Jay.
Yeah. He can probably get you some of those holders that he made.
So if you don't mind, would you send me the link also?
Absolutely.
Great.
That would be fabulous. Thank you.
Yeah.
Very timely. I mean, like
I knew that. That's why I did it today.
Perfect.
Oh,
serendipity strikes again.
Well, excellent, Bill. That was super. I see a lot of folks being critters in ON30 using the Bachmann trolley drive and this seems like a very reasonable way. I'm just out of curiosity. So the wheel sets you're using, where do you get the wheels to go on those drives? And then do you just press them on and line them up, or how do you do that?
Well, the wheels on the Wickham are, back in the day, Grahlman put out some 33-inch plastic wheel sets with steel tires. And so I just tore one of those apart and put them together on the axles and stuff. The 50-ton, I had a bunch of tires and I put plastic centers in there, and my buddy Murphy drilled the centers of them, and so they slip right on the axles of the thing. And I've actually replaced the axles in there because the ones that come with it are not long enough for O standard gauge and stuff. So you can just, and it's very, you cut the end piece there and you take out one screw and, press the gear off, press the gear on your new axle and put it back together again.
Cool.
Use that. Yeah. It's been pretty fun playing with these things. I've dealt with a lot of different things and it's been fun. Looks like somebody put up a website up there for us on the chat. So there you go, guys.
Great. Well, thanks again.
Yep.
Look forward to your next time. All these great details about how to build stuff and move forward.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, we're going to go ahead and move on to our next segment. And our next segment is a video. And so we're going to go ahead and run a one of our layout tour videos. And hang on, I got it. There we go. Pat's. No, that's not right, Pat. So yeah, we're going to run a layout tour video. And the layout tour video we're running today is Richard Rands layout. So here we go. An excellent layout, as you can imagine. So Richard Rands, if you don't know, runs Berkshire Valley Models. So.
How large is this layout, Phil?
It's 17 by 40 feet, and it's an ON30 layout.
A lot of the structures I'm thinking of this layout too are all scratch built and stuff. The guy's a pretty amazing modeler.
Yeah, it's very nice layout. Very well done.
Yep.
And very much the Colorado coloring.
Mm-hmm.
And the mountain scenery and the backdrop ties very well into the rest of the layout.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I asked him about this valley, and he said after he got done, you kind of have to walk up into it on the water if you want to service anything up there.
Gee, I wonder where he got all those beautiful models.
The scenery to track ratio is amazing to me. I love to see that.
You can see it was quite a popular layout to visit. Notice the mine car, that was a build-along at one point.
Mm-hmm.
This was an interesting mine tunnel that I see a couple of other pictures of that has a mirror in it, so it looks incredibly deep. That's the inside of the mine tunnel. repeat it there a couple.
At first, I thought it was a brothel.
It is easy to get a new Trax layout visit made of your layout, a friend's layout, or a layout you visit. Please take a 4 to 8 minute overview video of the layout and take 20 to 30 still images. Send an email to Phil at the address on the screen and you will get a cloud drive to upload the videos and photos to.
So Phil,
Yes, sir.
a little bit about the Rand family. They have been extremely active in the hobby. His dad started microengineering. And there are several other companies that they have done over the years and stuff like this. It's a pretty amazing family as far as the hobby is concerned.
Excellent. Yeah, no, it was a very good, very nice layout to visit. So,
Yep.
well, great. Well, now we're gonna go ahead and move on to our next segment, which is news and views O scale, or N scale, and we're gonna do stock Lovelace. Before we do that, we're gonna run the National City Hobbies little video.
National Capital Trains is the largest supplier of N-scale modeling products in the state of Virginia. We have been in business since 1989. We carry a full line of modeling products, specializing in N and HO N3 scales. We carry a large selection of competitively priced high-quality N-scale products from Atlas, Bachmann, Digitrax, Intermountain, Cato, Microtrains, NCE, Pico, Rapido, Soundtrax, as well as Brass. For foreign railroad train aficionados, we offer a wide selection of Japanese and European prototype trains. We are located 20 miles from Washington, D.C. in Springfield, Virginia. We are a short 7-minute drive off Interstate 95. Stop in and see us for the best in N-scale. We also have online ordering on our website, including great prices and expert advice. Call us for your N-scale modeling needs and advice. Use the QR code to visit our website. We look forward to serving you.
So with that, I'm going to go ahead and introduce Doc Lovelace, and Doc is going to run our little program this evening.
All right. Well, hello again, guys. To this month, I wanted to bring somebody to you that I met, much like I met Carl Zalagi through eBay. And it was when I was searching for very, very, very specific things that I found. Either I decided they would be too difficult or too expensive to kit bash. And I ran across a gentleman who runs a company called MotorCityRR. You can find him on all kinds of platforms. His name is Alan Grahlman. He's been married for 25 years. He retired from the Ford Motor Company. He's a 4th generation Ford Motor Company employee in his family. Between all of them, they have 200 years within the company. They're in the Detroit area. He started model railroading around the age of 8 with his dad. Did have a layout at one point, tore it down, and he has started his new one. He's got the bench work up, got everything going, and he is very interested in urban settings, much like myself. So when he was looking around, he kind of noticed what I noticed, and I met him apparently right around the time he started. And I noticed that there just wasn't a lot out there for the very specific needs for N-scale, first of all. Well, really any scale. For a really, really rich urban downtown environment in the model railroad community without just, spending months and months and tons of kit bashing and things. So, and even then you wouldn't get exactly maybe what you wanted. And this guy, he creates some wonderful things. I own probably 10 of his buildings right now, as well as some of our friends within this group. So I thought it fitting for him to come and share his story and his products and what he does. So with that, I'll leave it to Alan to take over.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to join the show. I have watched a few of the clips that you've posted online, actually over the past probably 3 or 4 months. So I'm really excited to be here, and special thanks to Doc for reaching out. I appreciate that very much. I've got the slides, and I'm just going to go ahead and share them, and then I'll kind of walk through it. A couple things. In terms of the 3D basics, is what I labeled this. It's going to be very, very high level, probably 50,000 feet level. For folks that are into the 3D modeling and have used 3D printers before, this is going to be very, very, very basic. But I'm just going to assume that many of you are not familiar with kind of 3D printing outside of the fact that it's starting to kind of flow through the model train world. So, many people know what it is, but I kind of want to give you a kind of peek behind the curtains to show you what some of the software looks like, and kind of what goes into creating a model and then printing that model. So if you bear with me one moment here, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and we'll see if this works. Let's see. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes, just throw it into slideshow mode and you're all good.
Yep, okay. So again, I'm Alan Grahlman. This Motor City Railroad was really kind of born out of the fact that when I got back into the hobby 3 years ago, my desire was to have an urban setting, dense urban setting with skyscrapers, large buildings, street walls, as well as having an elevated line. And what I found is that there wasn't a lot of buildings available to meet what I was looking for in terms of the size. You had, the Bachmann Spectrum, I think were pretty much the biggest buildings that were available. But I wanted to go larger than that. So I started looking around and found out that the 3D printing was available. I didn't know anything about it 3 years ago, quite frankly. So I started to research it, started to play with it, and started working on my railroad, which I call Motor City Railroad. It's a fictitious railroad. The 3D printing has allowed me to build the buildings that I want to build for my layout, provide some buildings to some friends, as well as selling some of them on eBay. So really, what is 3D printing? You can see that I've got a definition up here, but what I want to really kind of point out is the second line, which says creating physical objects by building them layer by layer.
Hey,
yes.
what are you doing?
Pardon me?
Sorry.
Was that to me or?
No, I was talking to my dog. I forgot I was unmuted.
All right, hot mic. So really, what the takeaway is designing something digitally and then printing it so you have a physical object. So how does it work? At a high level, 3D printing is created using computer-aided design like CAD software, and then a secondary program, which is a slicer. And I'll talk a little bit about that later, but that essentially creates the code necessary to go ahead and print your model. Once that is done, you send that to a 3D printer, and that does the work for you. I know, again, this is very high level, but I'm going to show you a little bit in the demo what I'm talking about. Number 3 there, you see the printer deposits material. It's a plastic material. It's called PLA. Some people use PETG, and it's printed out layer by layer. So when you watch a 3D printer, it'll circle around, it'll go from side to side, and it keeps adding layers until it finally builds. You see the structure come to life, which number 4, they fuse together. So those layer by layer, they start to fuse together to create the object. What I use is 5 3D printers so I can print things quickly, and because a lot of the buildings that I build are in sections. I'm limited a little bit by the bed size, which is 250 millimeter by 250 by 250. So roughly, what is that, like 9.5 inches or something like that. So sometimes I have to build in chunks, and then to do that, I utilize multiple printers at any given time. And the software I use is a 3D Windows builder, or Windows 3D builder for the CAD portion, the design portion, and then Bamboo Labs is a slicer program that I use. A lot of this won't mean anything as I explain it to you, but when I show it to you, it might make a little bit more sense. So I'm going to go into a demo here and show you what the software looks like. The Windows 3D Builder is a very basic program that I've used for the beginning. There's more sophisticated programs out there. I just don't use them. I'm comfortable with this, and it satisfies the needs that I have. So what I wanted to show you here is, if you can see, I'm holding up a elevated train line, and you can see it's one piece. It doesn't have all the bells and whistles on it. There's things like footers that I'll add to it, and guardrails for the catwalk. But this will give you an idea of what it looks like in the design mode. So here you can see I've started with individual pieces. So you'll see the catwalk, you'll see the plate girders, things like that, the U-shaped structure. So I start designing those separately, and then I add them together using a function called merge. So as I get all of these items together, I start lining them up, and I will use a merge function to actually pull all these pieces together, which will ultimately end up looking like something like this. This one here is an extension piece I have, but you get the idea of pulling these pieces together and creating one single object. And this was completely done in the Windows 3D Builder. So you can't really see the detail. I can try to zoom in a little bit, but there's a fair amount of detail in this. Let's see if I can pull this again. I'm going to apologize also up front. My computer is about 10 years old, and it's the only one that I had with a camera on it. So all of my equipment's actually down in the basement. But you can see this is a New York style closed girder type structure for elevated trains. I can run 2 tracks on this. So this is what the CAD design would look like. I'm going to just pause there for a second and see if anyone has any questions. Nope. Okay.
I have a question.
So once you do the design,
Alan?
Yeah.
I have a question. Is this software cost or is it free?
This is free, actually, which is part of the appeal for me.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to sink too much money into this. There's far more sophisticated software out there for the design. But I got to the point now where I'm very comfortable with this. I can do what I need to do, and I just run with it. It's a free download to the Windows Suite.
Does it work with Mac?
That I don't know. I use Windows. I've been a Windows guy for the past 40 years, 30 years, whatever it is. Let me see if I think I pulled up another one here that might have it handy. Let me go to the slicer side of it. Now, the slicer side is the piece that actually formulates what is known as G code. It's basically readable code for the printer, which allows it to pull it together and print it. So once I'm finished with the design, I'll go into the slicer, which is the Bamboo slicers, which is what I use. It's actually the product that comes with the printer. And again, my computer is slow, so we may have a little bit of latency here and lag time. But let me see if I can show you the other one. There it is. So this piece here, the structure you'll see in the bottom right, that's the structure that I showed you. Now, there's additional pieces that I print out that I will glue on, and I do that because when you print, you have to be mindful of the fact that not everything will be able to touch the heating bed, the print bed. So in some cases, if you have overhangs and things like that, you'd have to add supports to it. So in this case here, I've got additional pieces that wouldn't quite print the way I wanted them to. The catwalk fence, I could print it standing straight up with the fence this way, but I'd have to add supports under here to print it. I didn't want to do that. It takes a little bit longer. It uses more of the plastic and the PLA. So I flipped it over and printed it this way. So I had a flat space here. And then I just decided to glue these items onto the track or the structure itself. I added some, you probably won't be able to see it, but there's an actual groove here that I added. So this piece slides nice and firm and tightly into that. And then I just add a little glue to keep it on there. The other pieces are the footers, which I did separately as well. If I were to print it this way with the footer, I could probably get away without any supports, but I don't have the capacity to print separate colors on my single print job. There are devices that allow you to do that. I just don't own those. So I just print these footers separately. They have grooves in them, so they slide right on, and then you just tap it with a hammer, and it goes right onto the piece like that. So that would be your footer piece of it. There's one thing I wanted to mention this. So when you send it to the printer, you have to run the slice program here to prepare it for print. And with that, I had mentioned the supports. So you would add those supports in. You can do it automatically through the program. It's easy as pushing a button and saying that you want to support it with a tree style or almost kind of like a block style. Or you can do it manually. So I can actually go to the different areas and highlight, say I want to have a support here or support there during the print process. Once you go ahead and slice it and you're ready to print, it'll get sent to the printer. And the printer, I don't have one that I can show you here, but I think most of you've seen the 3D printers. But this is where the plastic comes through to the hot end, the extruder here. So you'll see this top piece I cut off. It's a piece of the PLA. It comes in spools, something like this. This is a spool of PLA. That gets fed into this hot end, which then melts it, softens it up, and then goes down to the bed level and lays your layers of print. So that kind of gives you an idea what that looks like. Let me pause there and see if you guys have any questions up to this point. Okay.
Pictures aren't changing.
Well, I haven't changed them, so
okay.
That's probably why.
Okay.
So that's kind of the two pieces of the design process. You have the actual design in the previous portion that I showed you here, and then you have the actual preparing for print, which would be the slicer phase here. I also pulled up another one of a building that I printed. Can you see the buildings on there now? The structure?
Yes.
So one of the things that I'm limited by is the size of the print on the plate. So in some cases, I have to actually cut a building in half, print them in separate pieces, and then basically glue them together with your standard super glue. I use a general kind of filler putty to put in there, and then I sand it down and prime over it. And in most cases, you would never know that it was split in a particular area unless you were the one that actually did it. So it comes out very nice. I'm going to show you now a couple of a few of the structures that I've built. Let's give it back to the Prez.
And guys, you'll probably recognize some of these pictures from some friends of ours. They're featured on some layouts of people we know.
Yeah, so I'm going to show you some examples of skyscrapers and high rises that I've printed. As Doc had mentioned, Al Puglisi is a friend of mine. I've printed some items for him. So several of these you may have seen before, items that he's painted, which I think he does a fantastic job. But just kind of going left to right here. This is the Chrysler building on the left, which is probably familiar to all of you. Next to that is the Book Tower in Detroit. Beekman Tower in New York, and then the Phil Tower in Tulsa, Oklahoma. The one to the far right is done by a gentleman, painted by a gentleman by the name of David. He does a fantastic job of painting out these towers for me. So I've got a couple of these ready to go on my layout once I get it going. Next up, to the left there, you've got the condensed version of the News Esperson building in Houston. Two center buildings there are generic buildings that would be 1920s or so that I created. To the far right is the Pabst building in Milwaukee, which I believe has been torn down, and that was one that Al had painted. And then just a couple more to the left. That's the American Radiator building in New York. You've got the One Times Square building in New York, and then the First National in Oklahoma City. And then to the far right is the North Commerce building, Commerce Court building, I believe it's called, in Toronto. This is an example of the elevated train track that I showed you in the previous couple sections. To the right is when I was first working on pulling this together and how it might look. Still working on some curve issues, but the straight line looks fantastic. And then to the left, a friend of mine put one of these on his layout. He's starting to run it through the backside of his layout. He's painted it and added some different things, signs and so forth. So I thought he did a nice job pulling that together. And then finally some brownstones, some 2 and 3 story flat brownstones. Friend of mine in Pennsylvania needed some brownstones, so I printed some of those out. And then another guy that I know printed this one to the left, which is HO, and one on the right, those are O scale. So I'm gonna throw it into Q&A. I know this is probably a little bit fast, but it was pretty high level, so those tend to go a little bit quickly. And let me stop sharing my screen and see if we have any questions.
And I'll add too, I've got one of his right here. This is that book tower in Detroit. And I kind of wanted to show if you've got me on, Phil, can you see me?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So as he was saying, he builds it in sections and the whole thing will come apart like this. And it makes it very, very easy if you want to interior it, if you want to light it from within, and I mean everything else. It makes and painting it makes it a breeze because I can take this one section right here and focus on that, for the day, and then move on to each section. And when you put them together, I mean, it took me minimal sanding, compared to the work I would have to do to kit bash something like this, and it fits together seamlessly and it's gorgeous. But
so
I'll
Alan,
let you ask Alan any questions.
Alan, so these are printed on a filament printer then primarily?
Yeah, exactly.
So are you printing them with a 0.4 millimeter head or a smaller head?
I'm printing with 4. I do some of my smaller stuff. Fire escapes, for example, I'll put on a 2 mil.
Okay. Excellent.
But it's been fun. I enjoy it.
Do you do any resin printing?
I don't. I've got a nephew that's into that, and he's been doing resin printing. He helps me out with some stuff.
Geez, it seems like some pretty amazing detail for that type of printing.
Yeah, I've been very happy with it. One of the things that I've noticed with the printers I'm using, very limited layer line visibility. So as it builds in layers, as I mentioned earlier, many printers you'll actually be able to see the layer lines, which takes away from the authenticity of the building. Been very happy with. I use Bamboo Lab printers. I'm very happy with the quality and the detail.
Are you printing the walls individually flat and they glue together then in those segments that Doc was showing? Are those 4 walls that glue together, or are they printed as a single unit?
Depending on the size of the building. So if you're looking at like an N-scale building, in many cases that'll fit on the plate. So those will be printed in chunks of all 4 walls already assembled together, already printed together. In some cases, when I do the O scale buildings, which can be difficult because I've got folks that want O scale skyscrapers, but then they come back and say, well, can you do it in 27 inches? I'm like, well, yeah, but it's not going to look very good. In many cases, the footprint of those are so wide, I actually have to do individual walls to fit on the
Right.
table. I would love to have a larger plate, but just cost prohibitive for me.
Any other questions? Well, thanks, Alan. Really appreciate that. It's great, and obviously 3D printing is allowing a whole new group of modelers to join the hobby as vendors, and it's great to see more and more folks introducing new models. It gives a much wider range of options for modelers as they move forward.
Absolutely, absolutely, and one of the things I'm going to start winding down a lot of the Facebook and eBay type stuff, and really focus on my own layout now. Want to try to get mine up and running and squared away
Excellent.
first. So,
well, if there are no more questions for Alan, we're going to go ahead and move on. We will move on to kind of the close of our show for tonight, our meetup for tonight. With that, what I'd like to do is introduce Father Ron. One of the beauties of our world is we get all these great things to model, and we kind of have a tradition of doing a little bit of a thank you for all the things we get to model. So with that, Father Ron, I'll have you join me. No, Father Ron. Oh, I guess we're. Oh, there he is. Oh, hello. So you're on.
Master Maker of the Universe. Excuse me. Our scale models imitate your creative spirit, and we learn the genius of your handiwork. Teach us to appreciate all you have made. Amen.
Thank you, Father Ron. We definitely appreciate all the things we get to model, and look forward to seeing you in the near future as well. So we have a caboose tonight. It's a fairly short caboose, but thought it was an interesting one to see. So with that, we'll see this final caboose. Well, thanks to everyone for attending and being here this evening, and thanks to our presenters. We'll hold off on the layout building till next time, since we're at 8:45 Eastern, which is probably late enough to not have another segment. So with that, we will close this evening. Hope to see everyone next week. Same Zoom URL, just copy it and save it for next week if we don't solve our email issues. And if you joined us on YouTube, go ahead and join us on YouTube, on the YouTube channel as well. Good day, and we'll see you next week.
Pretty cool show tonight.